Hello and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. Today we're going to tackle the newest patch 4.3D, which is going to be the patch 1 week or 1.5 weeks before 4.4. It's a very short patch but with a lot of important changes, so let's get right at those changes. First we have a change to Hackerim. Hackerim has been absolutely overperforming. This champion is broken. Just don't build any of these stupid normal assassin items, just go Bruiser and then you've been fine. So his second ability is getting a massive nerf. From 20 base resistances, it goes down to 6 on level 1. But don't forget, you max his ability second on this champion, not your third ability, but the second ability. It's a massive nerf. It also gains less health generation and a less good scaling. It also heals you for less of the damage you deal, so it's a massive nerf to its sustain, which makes it very important for you to really go into that Bruiser build, otherwise you just pop. Also, a slight nerf comes to his ultimate in the form of cooldown, but it is not that impactful. The Janna rework is also here, finally. It is a massive change for this kind of champion, and it will completely change how she's played, how she's perceived in the meta, and what she can do as a champion. In the past, her Tailwind passive grants you movement speed if you're running behind a Janna. Now this passive is completely changed. Now this passive grants you 5% movement speed wherever you are close to Janna. You just have to be nearby and you gain 5% movement speed. Another change comes to her first ability, Howling Gale. The magic damage of that ability is going up slightly, and the ability scaling as well. The charge time is also lowered as well, until it reaches its destination. Now, what changes with this ability is you have 2 charges now. It is so unbelievably fast, which allows you to go for such crazy plays. Now, Janna was a very passive champion in the past, and now she's a very proactive champion. She can do many things that she was not possible to do in the past. The next major change comes to her second ability, Zephyr. We gain a change to its damage. It's getting lowered in terms of damage. It also has a lower movement speed scaling and a higher cooldown. Previously it was a selfish ability. After the ability cooldown, Janna would gain bonus movement speed and deals bonus magic damage. But now it is a completely changed ability. It now increases Janna's movement speed by 15 to 30%. And now automatically searches 3 nearby ally champions, increasing their movement speed for the same amount as well, and deals damage to enemies. So how is this ability even balanced? If you know the reference, on PC we have an item called Shurelia's Reverie, or Battle Song nowadays. This item is a massive speed change. With this in mind, plus the passive of Janna, you are literally a speed demon. With this, running down people will not be a problem, and escaping from kind of itchy situations is also not that much of a hassle anymore. The next change comes to a shielding ability. The flat value of the shielding goes down by nearly half. It's massively nerfed in that department. The scaling is also losing 20%. But there's one little thing that is changing. Number 1, it doesn't decay anymore. The shield doesn't decay anymore. And now if Janna provides the shield that absorbs damage to herself, an ally champion with the lowest health is also gaining this shield, as well as a turret. So you have the ability to shield up to 3 different targets if a turret is involved with this shield. Now, I don't read anything about the AD changes, there's no nerf to the AD ratio this shield provides, so with this in mind, you're providing a turret, an ally champion, and yourself AD, which in a diving situation could be a massive difference maker. This is beyond huge, if you had no idea. Janna's ultimate also loses all its skill expression. Previously, you had to really make sure to stand in a very specific spot to not get yourself killed while you channel it. Now, you can just click it and walk around like you don't care anymore. On the flip side, it loses literally half its healing power and 20% of its scaling. But you don't have to stand still anymore, which is very helpful in terms of survival. But when it comes to healing, it is really a big slap into her face. What does it do to Janna? I think Janna will be way better than before, easier to play with more options to be very proactive on the map, and very, very annoying to deal with. Katarina. Katarina has always found her way to basically farm side laners by just walking there and not giving a single damn about any minion wave. To tackle this, which I think is a very good idea, they're tackling her passive Voracity. The base damage of that ability is going down and the level scaling is going down as well. And on top of this, the attack damage ratio is also getting tackled. I believe it's a very good idea because Katarina's passive has been the most annoying thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Number 1, the hitbox is absurd, and number 2, the passive daggers deal more damage than anything on this champion. It's a very weird thing. But I really hope to see less Katarinas just walk around the map and coin flip their ganks, but well, it's WildRift after all, so they'll do it anyway. Oh my, there is a Red Cane change. Nobody cares about Red Cane. I'll tell you this. There's maybe 1 in 100 games where a Red Cane game is an option. The issue for Red Cane is that he just dies to champions that attack him. Any ranged champion that is attacking the Cane while the Cane is dealing with the front line just kills this Cane champion. And Blue Cane, on the other hand, is just way too overpowered. So, even though it's a nice idea to buff Red Cane, fundamentally speaking, I don't see any value of this buff going to Cane. Not much is going to change, and in games where Red Cane was already good, he will be even better, but in most of the games you are playing Cane, Red Cane will be absolutely useless. Renekton has been struggling, and Riot identified this as such, and here we are now. So his first ability, Kaldemik, is getting more base damage, more base health regeneration, and more bonus damage. Is this going to magically catapult Renekton back into the power position? Hell no. The plated steel caps in the game, and alone, just these boots alone are too broken for Renekton to deal with. And all the meta champions that run these boots have more base damage, and just look at Renekton and be like, well, it's done for you. A champion who's been struggling a lot in recent times was Wukong. Wukong is a very powerful lower elo champion. This champion is super easy to pilot, heals a lot, has good teamfighting presence, and is just suffering a tiny bit compared to the other meta junglers or meta laners because they are just so much more potent. In this case, he's getting more healing on his first ability, more base damage, and a higher base ratio, or damage ratio. To add even more power to his kit, he's getting even a reduced cooldown on his second ability. Will this turn Wukong into a very broken pick? No, but it will still be a very good champion, because think about this. He gets 20 healing on level 1, 10 base damage on top, and the higher scaling. It is very powerful in the sense of laning, and this way he will maybe be able to take over a good position in the meta in the Baron lane to be a good weak side pick. He will not be a carry pick, but he will be a very good weak side teamfight utility pick. One of the more interesting changes I'm seeing is his Xin Zhao change. He just gets more damage on his second ability scaling and the flat damage. Is this going to make him a broken champion? Not really, it's a nice buff, but I don't really think it is going to really put him up in the meta. He will be still an okay pick, but not a good one. Gameplay changes. Ancient Coin. Okay, let me start. This item is useless. This item only has value if you have no idea how to use Relic Shield. That's literally it. So, if you play support and you have no clue how to play support and how to utilize Relic Shield, then Ancient Coin, which suggested by Riot Games, is the best item for you, because you don't have to do anything, which then is very easy for you. To make it even more powerful now, they make you gain more gold and more health regeneration. So does this change anything for good players? No. It just makes your life easier if you don't know what to do on the support role and what your items do, because still, even if Relic Shield is getting nerfed, which it is, Relic Shield will be the best support item by a mile. It just does have everything you want from a support item, does everything for you, has laning presence, HP, the ability to regen upon demand, and is just the far superior item to all the other support items. Berserker's Greaves. Berserker's Greaves are getting a slight increase in AD, but they will not be able to compete with Gluttonous Greaves. The issue is Gluttonous Greaves grant too much AD and Vamp at the same time. Berserker's Greaves really cannot even get close to this. If you need some more attack speed in your build, you can just run Alacrity and Runes and have other boots like Gluttonous Greaves. It's just way better. So I don't really see that Berserker Greaves will see much more light. Boots of Dynamism. The Armor Pen boots. The faithful trap boots. They're getting cheaper and get more armor pen. So what does this do? Champions who've previously built these boots, like champions who have inherent armor pen or run sudden impact as well, can use these boots to be a little bit more powerful in the early stages of the game, right? But these boots scale for shit. They are really bad when it comes to scaling and only really increase your damage potential by a lot if you have percentage of any armor pen in your kit and can run sudden impact and have a first lethality item that's very powerful in your build path. Otherwise, stay away from these boots. Duskblade of Draktar. Duskblade has been struggling. Yep, it did, because you removed the most powerful passive on this item and lowered the damage and gave it a cooldown. Like, huh? This item turned useless from broken to useless in one patch. So what they're doing now, they're buffing it with more armor penetration, and they're granted more base damage and more slow. Now with the idea of having the armor pen boots and this item in mind, it can be a very solid combination if your champion runs sudden impact. For example, a Jarvan could potentially run boots of dynamism, Duskblade of Draktar and sudden impact, and then need a lot of bonus damage because his first ability also reduces the armor by %. Really powerful idea. This item will sadly only be built on a very few champions. So, like, Kha'Zix can build it if he gets to auto attack, Pyke can build it if he gets to implement an auto attack during his combo, Jarvan can do so, but there's not many champions that realistically can build this item without harming their own build path. Harmonic Echoes. Harmonic Echoes is getting a massive change. This item is getting 200 gold cheaper, and its effect is nearly doubled. So what does this do? Soraka and Sona had kind of an issue when it comes to getting enough healing early on. Soraka needs a lot of AP, and Sona needs a lot of time and a lot of mana and AP as well. So this item allows them to heal way more, way earlier. So both of these champions can reliably go for this item as their first item to increase their potency in terms of healing by a lot. Does this mean that Sona right now without her rework is a better champion? No, but she is still way better than she was before because she has access to this item. So she basically just needs Tear of the Goddess and this item to spam heals. Soraka can also abuse this item to get even more healing and make her life substantially easier. We also have a change to the Magnetron enchant. The maximum movement distance is increased by 10% from 500 to 550, and the cooldown is reduced by more than 10%, like nearly 15%, from 60 to 50 seconds. Defensive boots are way too broken, and Riot has noticed this one. So as a consequence, they're changing a bit of the Mercury strats and they give them more HP, but reduce the magic damage lowered. Is this going to be changing a lot for these defensive boots? No, they'll still be the most broken boots when it comes to facing magic damage. Like you see, these boots grant you health, health regen, resistances, and percentage reduction. So these boots alone, if you buy them like level 5 or level 6, increase your effective HP by probably 30 to 35%. Absurd, by the way. So if you have high base damages and face a one-dimensional damage composition such as AD or AP, buying these boots will just allow you to kill 2 people while they go for normal items. Really balanced, by the way. Plated steel caps. Well, these boots are broken, as we already know, and as a consequence, they are getting their percentage damage reduction lowered by 2%. This is something that's very important, but it's not going to turn these boots into useless boots because, well, these boots have great base stats. Health regen, health, armor, and damage reduction. So if you're facing a very one-dimensional damage composition, as for the Mercury Trats, you can just go for these boots and loth at their face. Tank Yasuo will not be dying. Junglers who are facing the one-dimensional damage compositions can also still rush this, and there's no way you can kill them. As I've mentioned before, Relic Shield is also getting nerfed, but it's going to not change a single thing about this item being the best item by 50 billion miles. This item is simply the best support item, and if you learn how to use it, then this will always be your first choice. The one-time health regeneration is going down from 20 to 80 to 15 to 65. Is this going to be gutting this item? Hell no, it's still going to be broken. Riot thinks that the domination tree is not powerful enough. So they're adding more power to the Eyeball Collector and Ingenious Hunter, and maybe some other runes. So let's take a look at it. The attack damage and ability power gained from each stack is increased, and the maximum amount of ability power and attack damage is also getting increased. So we gain up to 20 AD from the takedowns and 40 AP from the takedowns. How insane is that in terms of stats? The same also happens to Ingenious Hunter. The same happens also to Ingenious Hunter. We gain 40 to 45 more ability haste. And obviously that's not enough, we also get an adjustment to Zombie Ward. You get up to 25 AD and up to 50 AP from this kind of thing. How insane is that? Especially when the upcoming Magus is at play. There's so many raw stats you can get and then amplify them with a late game Rabadon to get up to like 1k AP. That is going to be nuts. The last change we have is for Hack Slash. The channel time is now faster and the maintaining time is getting increased. Like you can maintain the flashing animation for longer and it takes less long to channel, which makes it very powerful when it comes to utilizing this kind of spell. Is it going to make this spell fundamentally broken? No, but it's a nice increase of skill expression if you understand how to use this, and it's easier to use now, so more people will probably pick them up, or pick it up. For skins, we have the Ashen Pike skin, which is a gacha skin as far as I know, and we get Stargazer Jax. The splash shot looks amazing, but in all honesty, in the game, it doesn't look as good, but Ashen Pike, ooh la la, it's a beauty. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and boost the algorithm. If you want to become a member, a Scuttlecrab enjoyer, learning how to full clear, and soon we have a website ready for you with all the best builds you can basically imagine from an actual high elo player, and then winning is just goddamn easy. Anyway, see you soon for more streams.